All right, so we are going to start with graphing the equation y equals negative 3x. I already have this table set up for you. You are going to substitute in your x values, which are negative 1, 0, 1, and 2, and you're going to plug it into the equation y equals negative 3x. So the next column, you're going to figure out what y is by taking negative 3 and multiplying it by the first x value, which is negative 1. And then negative 3 times negative 1 is positive 3. So y equals positive 3. And then you write down your ordered pair in the last column. Negative 1 is your x, 3 is your y, so your ordered pair is negative 1, 3. And you're going to go ahead and do this for the other 3 x values. So the second x value is 0. So you're going to do y equals negative 3 times 0. Negative 3 times 0 is 0. So your ordered pair is 0, 0. Positive 1. Y equals negative 3 times positive 1. Negative 3 times positive 1 is negative 3. So your ordered pair is 1 and negative 3. Then positive 2. Y equals negative 3 times positive 2. Negative 3 times positive 2 is negative 6. So your ordered pair is 2, negative 6. Once you complete the table, you're then going to plot the points in the graph below. So I'm going to rewrite these ordered pairs down here so that I could see them at the same time I'm plotting them. Because once I move this up, just to see the graph, I'm not able to see the points in the video. So I just rewrote them so you can see what I'm doing. So negative 1, 3. So you're starting at 0, 0. You're going to the left 1 and then up 3. And if you're having a difficult time seeing the x and the y axis, sometimes they blend in with the other lines in the coordinate grid, I would maybe highlight them. And then that way you can always see the origin. So again, negative 1, 3 is to the left 1, up 3. Then 0, 0 is the origin. 1, negative 3, start at the origin, go to the right 1, down 3. And then 2, negative 6, start at the origin, go to the right 2, and then down 6. You'll see that those points form a straight line, hence linear. So you're going to go ahead and connect them and put an arrow at the end of each line. So there you go. That is the graph of y equals negative 3x. Okay, problem number 2. We're going to graph y equals x over 3 minus 2. So again, I gave you a table of values to complete. We're going to use the x values negative 3, 0, positive 3, positive 6. So let's start with our first value, negative 3. So instead of x over 3 minus 2, I'm going to substitute in negative 3 over 3 minus 2. And if you start getting confused with these integers and doing operations with integers, just plug it into the calculator. So you'll have negative 3 over 3 and then minus 2. So you could plug it in as exactly how it's written. And then that's going to be your y value. So this is equal to -3. So y equals -3. And then your ordered pair is -3 for x and -3 for y. Then you're going to do the same thing for 0 as your x value. So y equals 0 over 3 minus 2. And again, if you're not comfortable doing this in your head, put it in the calculator. So 0 over 3 minus 2 is -2. So there's your ordered pair for 0. 0, -2. If x equals +3, then I'm going to plug in +3 for x. So I'll have +3 over 3 minus 2. And that gives me a y value of -1. So my ordered pair is 3, -1. If x equals 6, then y equals 6 over 3 minus 2. And that gives us a y value of 0. So my ordered pair is 6, 0. And then I'm going to use the coordinate plane below to graph these points. So I have to graph -3, -3, 0, -2, 3, -1, and 6, 0. So again, if you're having a hard time locating the origin, you can use a highlighter or colored pen, whichever you prefer. Go over top of the x and y axes. So the first point is -3, -3. Start at the origin, go to the left 3, and then down 3. 0, -2, start at the origin and go down 2. 3, -1, start at the origin, go to the to the right 3, down 1. And then 6, 0, start at the origin and just go to the right 6. And again, those points are going to form a straight line, and there is your graph. And that's the graph y equals x over 3 minus 2. Okay, then the last one. We have -2y equals 5x minus 6. So this is not in slope-intercept form. So what I'm going to do is solve this equation for y so that it becomes an equation, a linear equation, in slope-intercept form. So to solve this equation for y, I have to get rid of this -2. So if this is multiplication, -2 times y, I'm going to do the inverse operation, which is divide. So I'm going to have to divide everything by -2. So -2 divided by -2 is 1. So I just end up with 1y. Then I have this fraction, 5 over -2, which I'm just going to write as -5/2. And then I have this fraction, 6 over -2. And I know that 6 divided by -2 is -3. So I could put this equation into slope-intercept form, and it ends up being y equals -5/2 x minus 3. And that's what I'm going to put into my table here. Y equals -5/2 x minus 3. because that will make my table a lot easier to fill out. So for my table, I'm going to use the x values -2, 0, 2, and 4. So starting with -2, y equals -5/2 times -2 minus 3. All right, so now you have fractions, you have integers, and again, if you are stuck with all of these operations, put it in a calculator exactly how you wrote it down. So -5/2 times -2 minus 3. That gives us an output of just 2. So now y equals 2. So I have x is -2, y is +2, so then I could write my ordered pair. If x is 0, then I have -5/2 times 0 minus 3. -5/2 times 0 is just 0, and 0 minus 3 is -3. So when x is 0, y is -3. When x is 2, you have to do -5/2 times 2 minus 3. And again, if you're not comfortable doing this in your head, then just put it in the calculator. -5/2 times 2 minus 3 is -8. So y equals -8. So there's my ordered pair, 2, -8. And then when x is 4, I have -5/2 times 4 minus 3. I know that -5/2 times 4 is -10, and -10 minus 3 is -13. And again, if you don't know that, just put it in the calculator. -5/2 times 4 minus 3. So if you put it in the calculator, you'll also get -13. It doesn't matter. So now my ordered pair is 4, -13. So now I'm going to plot those 4 points in the graph below. So the first point I'm plotting is -2, 2. So I'm going to highlight the x-axis and then highlight the y-axis so I could locate my origin. And then -2, 2 is left 2, up 2. 0, -3. Start at the origin and then just go down 3. 2, -8. Start at the origin, go to the right 2, and then down 8. 4, -13 is not going to fit on our graph because the graph only goes to -10. So 4, -13 is somewhere down here. So since it doesn't fit, I'm not going to plot it, but I am going to connect the 3 points that are already on the graph. And there you go. This is the graph of y equals -5/2 x minus 3.